Hey guys, I'm Joe here for Weaver Leather Supply, and today we're going to talk about finish process for tooled leather. Now, looking behind me at the finish station here, there's lots of options when it comes to both sealants, dyes, antiques, all sorts of things. But I want to simplify it because the finish process can be super intimidating when you get started, and heck, even after you've been at it a while, it can still be intimidating with all the different options out there. So we're going to talk today, we're going to use this tooling sample from the flower tooling videos, and we have 3 different flowers tooled up that we're going to use only two products to get a really nice finish on here and bring to life all that detail that we put into our tooling. So this leather that I'm working with today is the Weaver Select Veg Tan leather, and this is a piece of 8-9 ounce, and we already have our tooling done. This is dried up. We've let that sit and dry all the way. Now we're going to get down to the bench and get started. With keeping this finish process simple, we're using 2 products. The first product I'm going to use is Tan Coat. This is a great all-around product, super easy to use here, and I always want to give it a good shake. Any of these products, always shake them up. But to apply this, I'm using just a piece of the fleecing or the fleece dressing that I've cut down. They come in bigger squares that you can get. I just cut them down to a little more manageable size. And then let's get an ample amount on your piece there. When I apply this, you'll see that I'm using circular motions there. I don't want to rub lengthwise on there and create any streaks. So I'm just using nice circles and working that in, making sure I have nice even coverage throughout my piece here. Now there's lots of products that we can get really technical on dry time and making sure we have just the right amount of time in between and layers of coverage and that sort of thing. But I said we're going to keep this simple, so I'm going to roll this right on. And the next product we're going to bring out is our antique. This is the Phoebe's antique finish. I'm using the mahogany, which is just the color of it. But this is the paste consistency. There is a difference between paste antique and gel antique. So make sure you know what you're getting there. But I like the one that's called just the antique finish. That tells me that's going to be that paste consistency. I'm going to use it in a smaller jar here. I always put it down into that smaller jar to be able to get a hold of. But here's the big key. Biggest tip you can get out of this is this antique finish will antique the leather really well, but it'll also antique the leather on your hand. So I really recommend using a little rubber glove at this point just to protect your hand. Keep it from getting too antiqued itself. Now, this is a fresh piece of that fleece dressing. We're gonna get down in there, get a good amount of that. We're using our same circles again. But alongside of that, I'm gonna have sitting here waiting is another rag to wipe this clean with. And I say another rag, this is a really fancy used sock. It's washed. It's okay, it's washed, but it is used, and just turn that inside out. It just is a really nice texture on that to grab a hold of that antique, and like I'm going to show you here in just a second. So with this, we're going to work that in circles, and I'm going to get some more here, make sure we get plenty on here. I want good solid coverage. All the way across here. Now you can see that's working down, and already you can see those cuts and details popping out at us, right? That's the idea behind this antiquing, is that it's going to pick up all those little textures and all the cuts that we take our time when we're tooling to get just right where we want them, this is going to help bring that to life with this finish here. Oh, see, got a little antique on that finger. I should have wore 2 gloves, I guess. Okay, now with that set aside, not worrying about dry time. I actually don't want to let this sit too long because I don't want that to penetrate and leave extra marks where it's thick and heavy on that smooth leather. But now, I wipe that excess off. Now what I've done is taken that antique off of my smooth leather, left it down in my cuts and in all my details there. Okay, now I may have misspoke earlier. I said this was a 2-step process. I didn't mean to lie to you, but I did. It is a 3-step process with only 2 products. So now that we've got our antique down on there and wiped off, I'm going to go back here to my tan coat and let's get a little more tan coat on here. We're going to put this last layer over here. And you can see that's pulling some of that off already. This is just going to help it get a nice extra finish on there. And it's also pulling any of that extra antique off of my smooth leather. To where we've just left our antique now down in our cuts and in our details to help that pop. Brings that a little more life to your project, but that's going to leave a really nice finish on there, so you're not having to worry about your product out in the elements, no matter what that project is that you're building on. I hope this has helped and give you a little bit of confidence when it comes to finishing leather. Remember, this can be as complicated as you want it to be. All of leatherwork can. You can dive in as deep as you want to go, but it can also be extremely simple to get you rolling and get started there. The main thing is have fun with what you're doing. If you enjoy diving in deep and getting in all the particulars of it, go through it. There is lots of products, lots of options out there, but don't let any of it intimidate you. Have fun with what you're doing. Remember, just a couple products, a few easy steps, and you can get a really nice finished look to your tooling. So let us know what questions you have. I look forward to seeing you here in the next video.